Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. We're back. We're back after a 10-day holiday break, which is really nice. I did very little work, which means we have lots to do. We're back. Hey, Rhiannon Journey. Hey, the Ant. How's it going? All right. Finishing up a quick JetBrains update here. And then we'll get to it. Should have a regular schedule this week. Even on New Year's Day, I think we'll have a stream going. So, no planned. Not planning on skipping any days this week, so that's nice. It'll be our first full week in a while. Holidays are tough, but we're almost through them. And then on to the next year. It'll be our third year of working on this stuff. It's exciting. All right, almost done. Almost done updating. How are you feeling? Hopefully not sick at all. Yeah, I'm pretty okay. Thanks. Definitely ate too much, I'll tell you that. All right, here we go. All right, we're back. Let's get to work. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Guess I can open up the to-do list here. Not that the to-do list tells us anything about anything. All right. So we redid a bunch of stuff. We talked about it. I guess I can talk about it now, because it's pretty much done. So we finished this. All right. Are we happy? Oh, we're telling. It wants to tell me everything that's new in Writer. Support for .NET 10 SDK. I want to get us updated. Bunch of AI nonsense that's luckily opt-in. A new theme that we don't use. Ooh, there is some enhanced features for Godot, which is nice. You can take a look at that. There's some good new Godot stuff in Writer, in the new version of Writer. Oh, and I can't see it because they don't play nice with my dark reader. But yeah, there was good stuff in here. Whatever, if anyone cares, they can go look at it. I'm not gonna flashbang myself here just to read their update. But yeah, there's good stuff in here for anyone that uses it. You want to get updated to the latest .NET also? Yeah, I would like to. I don't think there's anything in 10 specifically that I'm looking for, but the fact that Godot just lets me stay up to date, it kind of makes me tempted to do so. It's really nice. It's really nice to have early support. All right, what do we don't care about this or this. All right, oh yeah, I was talking about what we were working on. Yeah, so we switched out our block structure from being this compound object thing to being just a single indivisible block. And then block structures are these kind of emergent properties of combinations of blocks. Along with a tagging system. lets us specify, well, this is just a regular block, or this is a door block, or something like that. So we added that. We also got rid of the overlapping blocks. So now there is no outline overlapping. That works, which is neat. That helps with a lot of stuff. And so we made these two pretty big changes. I think we've pretty much got it. So we can think about what we're doing next. There are, I think, are still some corner cases we need to look at. But the main thing I want to work at is this kind of simulated raycast cursor input thing. We do need to do some resizable block buffer stuff, but I don't feel like it's absolutely critical. We do need to work on the block cutaway system. I think I moved that from completed back down to on hold, because we basically have to rewrite that part, mostly from scratch. We're doing okay. I'm mostly interested in moving on to some of this save and load stuff, some serialization stuff. Hopefully we'll work on that early in the new year here. Then there's some quality of life stuff that I think I'm mostly going to skip for now. These three on the bottom I think are crucial, and these three on the top I think are crucial. But otherwise, I think we're going to skip some of these and try to move on to the simulation layer as early into the new year as possible. But yeah, I want to get this raycast cursor input thing underway, so let's work on that. Yeah, I use this so little. But it's still good to check back every once in a while. Because if we're looking at our roadmap, we're still here. We're still at this tile block editor stage. We really want to move on to this chipboard simulation as soon as possible. Hey, the ant. I see you. I see you made the jump from YouTube over to Twitch. Ran in. There's nothing that you want specifically from .NET 10. Hopefully the next version gets union types. You're missing them from PHP. Yeah, I don't know. There was some interesting backing field stuff and a couple other things that seemed interesting in C#14, but yeah, nothing is... there was some stuff. I think there's some improvements to span in read-only span, some like implicit type stuff, which helps when you're using spans with like generics. I think it'll help. I don't quite see how, but it looked good. So yeah, there's always some improvements in the background. But yeah, what are we going to work on? So let's run it. Let's see what we're at in terms of running the thing. I guess I should open the Godot editor. Do any kind of... I did make one push during Christmas. Just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff I messed around with, but nothing substantial. But we'll see. We'll still see. Hey, the ant, give you a number 1 to 10. Let's see. There's a lot to choose from. I'll give you a 4. Let's rebuild this. I was tempted to give you like a floating point number, but you know what I should have done? Let's clean up this project file. That's what I should have done. But we'll do some spring cleaning soon enough. All right, let's see what we got going on right now. See where we left off. Oh, thank you so much for the 4 bits. Hey, the ant. Appreciate that. Happy holidays. All right, let's see what we got here. So the thing that bothers me now is we start building at the top and then we have to go down. So we start at the top and we can't go up from here. We can only go down, which is not helpful in a lot of ways. Oh, the corners. We have some corner stuff we have to fix. We can work on that today. But yeah, if I relaunch this and I start. So what I want to do, imagine if I had said pi. I was very tempted to give you some kind of floating point number, but I should have done something like that. I should have said like the the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle of size 1 or something like that. I should have given you like an irrational number. All right, so what I want to do, we're just going to scroll down a bunch. I think this should stop eventually. Yeah. So what I would rather us do is essentially start at the bottom. And then right now we're locked to the bottom here. But what I really want is this kind of raycast system that can see that there's a surface there. And so now instead of just locking us in here via the scroll wheel, instead you can like draw on top of that. And then if you mouse over this, you'll get the one on top of this. I mean, you should still be able to overwrite it. But yeah, so far things are going okay. I like the thick outlines. I kind of do. We need like a little shadow cast thing again that casts back down so that you can kind of see where you are, because that's definitely the big problem right now. But maybe that's less of a problem if we use this raycast input thing, because you'll know that you're only ever... The little black outline that appears when you're directly above a surface is nice too. But yeah, we need to do that. We need to add support for like using these larger stacks of things. We need some more control over this stuff, but in principle, this is looking okay. But yeah, there is a corner case. There might be more than one. There's at least one corner case that's causing us problems. Let's see. No, it doesn't seem to be this corner case. Oh no, maybe it is. Yeah, I don't think the corners are behaving quite correctly. It especially doesn't behave correctly when you do something like this. So yeah, this is awkward to use, but this is definitely the direction we want to go. Oh, this piece on the side here is wrong too. The edge back here should be getting drawn. So we'll probably start easy today. Do some like auto tiling fixes or something. Yeah, there is definitely some issues with the corners. Yeah, you can see a gap right here. All right, we'll have to take a look at all that stuff. Base is looking good. Yeah, you're able to get a lot of different shape variety because each block is so small. It's very true. Hey, Sapphire, how's it going? Happy holidays. Yeah, we just need a more intuitive way of navigating around this space. But yeah, I like the idea that you're almost like a 3D printer. You could do other stuff when the cutaway system is back. Like, it'd definitely be easier to do that stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility in the construction now, which is great. That's nice to see. What I need to do is have make it a little easier to... I believe the selection works okay too, but it's still weird. We kind of need the selection thing to work the same way with the cursor input, which will be interesting. Yeah, I want to get that stuff going pretty soon here. the locked z-axis stuff is weird. It's looking nice. Thanks. Yeah, I'm almost envisioning that the new method is almost like a 3D printer style, like you lay it out layer by layer. We need to have some usability tools. Like I can make a wall easily enough by just scrolling up and being like, this is the size wall I want. But it would be nice to be able to, I'm almost envisioning the palette as being like a prefab list. And so you can make kind of any prefab, whether it's like the size of a block or if it's like a whole room. We might treat these kinds of prefabs as a special case. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, let's work on some auto tiling stuff. So this wall at the back is easy. We should fix that. It's interesting because it works at the front. It just doesn't work at the back. So this line should be here. So it's not drawing it because there's a tile behind it, but there's also a tile in front of it. So we should consider that. And in fact, it almost shouldn't care if there's a tile behind it. We're looking for this catty corner tile. All right, let's work on that. You can do little window cutouts. Yeah, we'll need to be able to do things like, I'll probably make a glass material that you can see through. It's not going to be, because of our angle, because of our camera angle, it's not going to look great, but like looking through you're back on YouTube. Okay, thanks, Ant. How's everyone been? How's everyone's holiday? We got one more. We got New Year's coming up here, which I have off, which is nice. But I think I'll stream New Year's Day. Why not? Maybe we'll actually make a more serious plan for next year. Maybe we'll do something responsible. Apparently, that's a laughable idea. All right. So what I want to do is we're going to look at the tile drawing system. Yeah, I got to turn the corner stuff on. But we'll get that in a second here. I want to look at the negative and positive. I want to look at the negative X edge for the X face. So I want to look at this branch. Rhiannon, holidays have been nice this year. You didn't really do much. So there was no commitments. That's nice. You've been doing a fair bit of C#, learning how much you don't know about the language. It's been fun. Yeah, for me that was when I started doing C# and Godot, and I downloaded like C# 12 or something like that, or 11 or something, and I was like, look at all this stuff. I don't know what the last version of C# on Unity I used was, but it felt so old by comparison. Like our whole system is really heavily based on the memory and span objects. I know those aren't new, but there's a lot of new stuff you can do with them. We also use ref structs and record structs. It's really nice. All right, so we need to change this stuff here. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good holiday here. Hopefully everyone is still pretty checked out. The week between Christmas and New Year's is supposed to be a very chill week. Doesn't seem to be for me personally in terms of work, but I'm trying to make it so, you know? And C#'s pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I like it. There's better languages for sure, but if you're someone like me who their day-to-day is mostly like JavaScript and, you know, they came up with with game dev stuff. You know, back when Unity had JavaScript, and then I switched to C#. It's nice. It's easier to wrap my head around. Someday I want to learn C and C++ and stuff, but I'd be really interested to do a project in C using like Odin or some kind of framework like that. That'd be really neat, I think. But what I probably should do is do a game in Flex. If I was going to do a game in C++, I'd probably try to use the Flex ECS engine or something. I don't know. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. How was my Christmas? Oh, it was good. It was full of a lot of food. I went down to my parents' and we ate very well. A lot of meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Some nice red wine. It was good. We watched a lot of movies. It's a nice time. I know a lot of people have a stressful time visiting their family over the holidays. For me, it's been pretty nice historically. All right, block face is X, mask is null. So if mask is null, we're interested in this path. So yeah, there's no details here. What we need to do is we need to add like a... Okay, and now we've reversed, remember, we've reversed the condition. So instead of asking not, we're returning has instead of has not. Or not has, whatever. We're returning has, so the conditions are the opposite of what they used to be. So what I think we want to do is we want to say... I think we want to say something like... And... Yeah, I think all we need to do is we need to check our catty corner. So we want to say minus y plus x. So it could be or. So we could say or holes dot contains key. We could also just check the block tags rather than the holes. You just see if there's a block there. I'm tempted to do it. How else did we do it down here? I don't think we have a lot of calls to block tags yet. We say not block tags has cutaway. Oh, that's how we ask for our cutaway. That's fine. That's fine then. Rhiannon, the last thing you did with C# was like a WPF app about 6 to 7 years ago. It just revolved around interacting with some APIs from some warehouse software, moving data in between that and your web app system. You just learned enough to get it working. Definitely not your best code ever. Learning something to get something working that's how I learn. I like to read the docs or whatever, but I have found it's not useful until I have an application for it in mind. Sapphire, glad to hear you had a good Christmas. You had a good one as well. Nothing crazy. You just went to your parents, grandparents. Nice, nice. Any plans for New Year's? Are we having a normal stream week? Or are you going to be taking Thursday? No, I think we'll have a normal stream week. I'm not a big New Year's celebrator. I'm rarely awake at midnight. I bonk out usually a little before then. All right, so we're going to do a hull containment check instead of... I know we could ask the block tags, but we're just going to do this. I'm going to say hull contains key, hull key with W equals block dot hull W equals int block dot hull dot... Oh no, that's not right. W equals... How do I organize this? Oh, block.faces, right. Block.faces.y plus vector, minus vector 3i, no. Plus vector 3i dot x minus vector 3i dot y. That's awkward, but it's okay. kind of want this to be up here more. Why can't I do that? Oh, because this is the condition. Yeah, that's okay. Hey, Nix. How's it going? Oh, thanks for the hydrate. Feel like it's been forever since the last stream. I know, I feel the same way, even though it's only been 10 days. 10 days without a stream. You forgot that people are probably going to shoot off fireworks. They probably will. They probably will. Protect the dogs. The doggos. Hey, Fuma Satrami. What's up? Do you recommend any VPN? Well, I don't currently have a sponsorship from NordVPN, so I cannot recommend them. That's what everyone else uses. I don't know. Anyone use a VPN? I don't really care. I actually have an ISP that's like kind of probably the best, one of the best regarded in the whole country. They're pretty incredible. They voluntarily delete your data of their own accord. It's amazing. I could maybe get into that at some point if I needed to. You recommend Mulvad? You also have Mulvad ran in Journey? Apparently the Mulvad is a popular one. Hey, the Ant. You've tried using C, C++ before? Fireworks light your ears on fire so they don't work. It sounds like they're working. All right, so we're going to try this. This should work for one side. Rhiannon, you can send a cash envelope to them and get your account set up if you want that level of anonymity. That's crazy, but that kind of makes sense for what people maybe expect. But welcome to the channel. You're thinking about IVPN? Okay. Yeah, I don't have any geo-blocker stuff or anything that's made me need to worry about that, but I understand that's a problem for a lot of people. Or just a desire to, you know... I have been thinking about something else. How are you doing, Nix? How have you been? I've been thinking about offloading some of my cloud stuff onto like a local server, because I've got these computers that are going to become, I've got one computer that's going to become a Linux box. I'm just trying to think of what to do with it, and I'm thinking it would be nice to have like a Git repository there, because I do feel a little exposed, not exposed, I feel vulnerable having, and bad, the fact that I have stuff on AWS, I have stuff in the Google Cloud, I use GitHub. I've been thinking about next year putting a lot of effort into setting up my own servers and stuff. And I don't know, I'd have to look a lot at the cybersecurity, but some of that might involve some kind of VPN or something. But that's kind of more the project stuff I've been thinking of. Okay, so we still don't have this line back here. We should be seeing this. Minus y plus x. So yeah, if there's a face here, this face should draw an outline. Kind of weird that that's not happening. I thought that's what I told this to do. As edge negative x. Block.faces.x. All type has value, blah, blah, blah. Oh. Here's something stupid. You have to parenthetically wrap this stuff. There we go. That's what we should be saying. Okay, I was wondering why the indentation wasn't reading correctly. If you're going to use a ternary operator like this as part of conditional, you have to like wrap the whole operator. Or it treats the has value thing as the condition rather than the result of the has value thing. Okay, yeah. All right, that makes sense. I think I'm gonna preemptively wrap the rest of these, even though it doesn't matter yet, so I don't run into that, because I will forget that. I will forget that. All right, hold on, chat got paused because I scrolled up. Next, for some reason, you heavily doubt any ISP would voluntarily delete any data, even if they made backups to spy on, feeds them to AI to sell to advertisers. Maybe you're just jaded. You are jaded, but yeah, after 2 years, my ISP deletes all my data. Pretty cool. No, I love my ISP. I use them for a couple other things, like a virtual telephone number, stuff like internet phone stuff. They're great. And I'm glad, because the only thing I can't do, like I can roll all this stuff at home, like I'm saying. The one thing I can't do is roll my own ISP, you know? You like Mulvad, Nix? You love how the only thing that they have on you is just one code, no location, no email, no cards. Yeah, that's neat. I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense. Sapphire, you just finished season 2. Ooh, okay. You're getting in it. You're getting in it. That's great. Random Journey, if you set up Tailscale, you can connect all your devices to a little local private network, no matter where they are. Oh, I should think about something like that, because I was thinking about security. And my security use case is really easy, because like while I have multiple devices and I might access those devices on other internet connections, they're all just my devices. I'm not trying to support other people. And that's a good idea. Tailscale. Okay. I'm gonna bookmark something about that to try to remember it. Tailscale. Secure connectivity. Neat. Yeah, I have to think about that. I'm sure there's other ways to handle my very basic use case, but I want to dip into that stuff. I want to get into some of it. Hey, Arneo, freedom. Great. Succeeded. False. Errors. What errors? Oh, I accidentally built this. My bad. Not what I meant to do. How are you doing, Arneo? Happy holidays. I still have 2 computers I need to build. I need to build the 2 Windows machines that are the new Windows 11 machines that I bought all the parts for. It's crazy how expensive it was. But I figured I had to do it now because, you know, Windows 10 being deprecated and prices just seem to be going up. Even for DDR4, price was kind of high. But yeah, I'm interested in learning that, setting up a Linux desktop out of my old server. Or not out of my old server, setting up a Linux desktop using an old Windows desktop that can't migrate to 11. Turn that into a Linux machine. Should think of some things I can do with it. Okay, so everything has been wrapped. You notice there's very little auto tiling rules here. It's a lot simpler than the old case, which is good. I wasn't sure if it was going to be simpler or more complicated, honestly, but it seems simpler, which is good. All right, now let's see what we get. Did I get in before the RAM explosion? I ended up spending more than I wanted, but I still think I got I was getting 16 gig sticks of DDR4 for like less than $50 each, which feels high. It feels very high. But yeah, I don't know. I did all these purchases during Black Friday. Or Cyber Monday, as it were. Oh, this is not the... I guess we can test it like this. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got the outline we want. Now I can just reflect the other side. Arneo, you bought Void Wars from the winter sale. That's all that's new for you. Nice. Void War. Yeah, Void Wars is fun. I want to play some more of that. Yeah, I ended up eating a lot of food with the family, and watching a lot of movies. We watched a lot of new releases from this year that they hadn't seen. It was fun. It's kind of our time to catch up on movies, many of which I'd already seen. The only one I hadn't seen that I kind of liked that we watched was F1. That ended up being better than I thought it would be. Yeah, we watched a lot of the good stuff from this year. Like we watched Sinners and Wake Up Dead Man and what else? We watched a lot. I'm actually struggling to remember it all. Thursday Murder Club. It's fun. Yeah, I was going to try to work over the holiday break. I'm glad I didn't, but it does mean that my brain is kind of disconnected. All right, so we can use this. So now we want to go to the positive edge X. And we want to go to the faces.y and we want to add this here. But instead of this, we want to flip all the axes. So we want to say minus X. I wish there was an easier way for me to combine. There really isn't, though. Like, if I was adding both of them together, I could just say plus XY. But because I'm subtracting one and adding the other, it's a little harder to express. Kind of neat if I could, though. All right, let's see if that worked. Seeing the folks is not boring. It's what you're supposed to do. True, true. Yeah, I like the month between like Thanksgiving and Christmas. You get to see a lot of people. You get to eat a lot of good food. Try to forget about work for a while. Ooh, that went wrong. Why did this go wrong? Oh, it's not your positive. I did this on the wrong end. Okay, well, that's fine. Take that. Go back up here. Put this in the right spot. So yeah, don't expect a lot to get done today, but yeah, I'm thinking of all the fun stuff I could do with a Linux box nearby. I could set up a build. I could set up some CI/CD stuff. I could set up a build pipeline. Could do a bunch of stuff that I would normally need to have hosted somewhere else. And I was just like, oh yeah, the other thing I want to do some NuGet packages. I was thinking about it, and I want to spin off my ECS implementation into a package rather than having it be tightly coupled to this project. Then I could at least use it in other projects. I don't think I would, but I might use it, I will use it in Lo-Fi Flyby. So I think I will need to be able to package out some of this stuff. And I was looking at how I wanted to have it all hosted, and I was like, I should just do all of this stuff locally. So we might do some of that stuff on stream. I think it'd be kind of fun, but we might not. We might just do the game dev stuff. There's only so much about my local network I want to expose in my devices I want to expose. All right, this should work now. Hey, Samuel. Wow, what's that modeling tool? Welcome in. That's mine. It's a block editor tool that I built. That's kind of what we're working on. This is actually all in isometric 2D. So this is actually being rendered as a 2D tile set from 3D data. Okay, we just fixed that. We just fixed an outline drawing problem on the back there. Beautiful. But yeah, welcome in. Yeah, we're working on an FTL-like game that we're making in Godot. And part of the fundamental tool of this is a block editing tool that will let us build out the ships that we want to make. So I've just been kind of working on refining some of these processes. I think that outlining is a little awkward in some of these cases, but you know, it makes it very clear when you've reached the edge of something. Yeah, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. All right, let's try to fix some corner cases. I have been incredibly lazy about the corners, but we need some corner case stuff. So like if I do something like this, yeah, we're missing a corner there. Yeah, I'm having an easier time seeing this stuff with the double outline. Yeah, you can see a missing one right here. There's a missing pixel right there. Let's start with that maybe. Very nice tool. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of the basis of our build out process here. And yeah, we're handling all of the drawing with an autopilot. This is kind of the vibe we're going for. It's kind of low-res, isometric, 2D pixel art. But I want the ship designs to be more 3D, so we're tackling a lot of visibility issues. We have systems in place to handle it. We're still working on it. Very much a work in progress. We're getting towards the tail end of it, though. Yeah, I appreciate you hanging out. Nix, you played Project Zomboid, and you felt bad for not working on your mod. Then you realized you have to rewrite Project Zomboid's render engine to support morph targets, which is going to be super fun. Decided to give up on it for now. Reinstall your mods for the game that you had to remove, which, fun fact, are exactly 29 gigabytes. The game is like 1 gigabyte. That is insane, Nix. That makes your 400 or 500 RimWorld mods look like nothing. You have 29 gigabytes of Project Zomboid mods that you play with. That's crazy. Arneo, it sounds like you're optimizing your fun. It's a dangerous road to go down. It really is. It really is. Without outlines, the art style tends to get messy if not careful. Yeah, we do use outlines for most cases. I haven't been using outlines for the characters because they're so wee. But we have some shader-based outlines that we've been using to distinguish them. But yeah, it's something I'm thinking about. That's why we've got some really thick outlines that we're using for the terrain. But yeah, distinguishing characters from the background set is going to be pretty important. It's definitely an important thing to keep in mind. Ran a journey on a window cutout. Why is the bottom horizontal outline double the width while the top outline is single? I will tell you. So, for our example here, go down a few layers. Yeah, I need some kind of layer guide thing that lets you know where you are. Unless we make it all just relative. But yeah, if we make some stuff in the front here, we'll do this, and then we'll go up a few levels. However many, it doesn't really matter. Oh, uh-oh. That was me not knowing where I was. Where am I? Yeah, being able to tell where you are is tough. That's why we want that raycast input. There we go. So let's make some kind of window-like structure, right? Oh, that was wrong. Oh, no, that was right. Okay. Okay, so So you're wondering why there's a double outline at the base but not at the top. That's because you can't see both surfaces. So the first outline is for the wall, where the wall meets the base, like the vertical wall meets the horizontal base of whatever windowsill or what do you want to call it. But at the top and also here, you can only see one of the surfaces. So if you can only see one of the surfaces, you'll only get a single thick outline. But if you can see both of the surfaces, you're going to get a double thick outline now. Yeah, that's kind of a consequence of our removing the... it's definitely a new, but that's part of the consequences of getting rid of the overlapping blocks, of switching from this system up top here to this system down low here. How close are you getting to being able to recreate your style guide artwork? That's a good goal. We're definitely a lot closer than we used to be, because this thing, this like floor thing here, it's kind of like a raised center bridge area. I couldn't do this before. Straight up, we just couldn't do it at all because we had that different, we hadn't decomposed the blocks yet. We had that like big block, which would be like a compound of a deck plate plus like whatever the bulk above it was. So we couldn't have that kind of detail, but now that each block is very small and indivisible, we can build out structures like that. I mean, I'd still need to make a staircase, kind of like a step kind of structure, but we're way closer to being able to build something like that than we were. So we're getting there. We're getting closer. So each face contributes a distinct outline. Yes, yes. Yeah, we switched to that because when you do it this way, where we have some limited overlapping vertically, there was some fighting about who was responsible for what. But the nice thing about doing the non-overlapping approach is that each face can fully, like, there's no partial obstruction issue. Where, like, when we did it this way to get the floors to tile right, like, the tile in front of the tile behind it, we need to cast a shape backwards to it. There was a lot of weird stuff happening, but yeah, now we don't do any overlapping. And it's nice. It makes each tile self-sufficient, which is really good. And will be very helpful with, like, normal mapping and lighting and stuff like that. Because you don't have a disagreement about, like, what's the angle of this line? Is it straight up or straight out? Is it between? There was a lot of issues we were running into with the overlapping lines, but we got rid of them recently. Yeah, we're coming out of a really big refactor to achieve these two changes. The overlapping line and the decomposed block. So we're rebuilding a lot of functionality we had up until recently, which is unfortunate. You like the new one subjectively too? Yeah, I do too, because yeah, it's consistent. Its consistency is increased, which is, you know, always good in my mind. You think it would be neat to try to recreate the style guide with the game tools when you're able to? I think that would be an important test. I don't think we'll ever have a room that looks quite like that. The scale of the style guide is kind of wonky. Like, we're never going to have a bridge with, like, I don't know, whatever this is, 12 stations around the outside and 3 officers. I think you could see this at much smaller scale, but this is like Void War levels of crew members we're talking about. I think we're going to be closer to like a FTL style, but I don't know. We can probably expand. We could probably support something at this scale, but we'll see. We will see. You do like how the smaller blocks are looking? It's starting to look really satisfying to play around with. Yeah, it's a lot more interesting to draw the rooms out. There's a lot more stuff we're going to be able to do for that. Gotta run to the store. You're out of soda? Well, you better fix that. All right, so let's start working on the corners. Yeah. So I disabled this because I was like, I don't want to work on the corners yet, but we're going to do it. It's time to work on the corners. Say private pool has corner -x, -y. Buffer 3D read only. Oh wait, what does this pass in? Atlas chords. Oh, you have to pass in the existing Atlas chords. That makes sense. Vector 4i, Atlas chords. Buffer 3D read only, block tags. Null key. Null type. Mask. Okay. Right now we'll just return true. No, we should probably just return false. Do the rest of these real quick here. It's getting late for you. You'll be in good night. Hope to catch you again soon. Yeah, we do this 5 days a week. Thanks for hanging out, Samuel. Have a good night. Hope to see you again. Sapphire, you can't remember if you asked this or not. Are you planning on having mod support at all? Dave said it will come after release on Steam. Yeah, that's close to what we're gonna do. So I want, for safety reasons, here's the roadmap. So Steam Workshop. We're gonna support the Steam Workshop when we go into some kind of paid beta launch. It might be Steam Early Access. We'll see. But there's going to be a hard cut from the alpha full release. The alpha full release will always be available for free on itch. So that if people want to play this version of the game, they'll always will be able to. And this version of the game will not have official mod support, in that mods will work because I plan on creating a data model that can be modded. You know? Like, there's nothing that would prevent you from manually copying mod files. But I'm not going to officially support it until we have Workshop, because I'm not making myself liable to, you know, the stuff people do to their computer because they downloaded a file off the internet and, you know, threw it in their project. The way I'm architecting this, I'm not planning on allowing any kind of, like, I plan on defending against arbitrary code execution, but obviously that's hard to defend against. So yeah, we're waiting for the beta version on Steam, and I can get the Steam Workshop going. That's when mod support will become official. So it's one of those things where it's like, technically, as soon as people are able to play the game, they'll be able to mod it, but it's not going to be officially supported until we got the Workshop working, for safety reasons. No one ever really plans on leaving security vulnerabilities or anything. Yeah, that's true, but there's a lot of architectural choices you can make. Like, we don't use resources like Godot resources, because making Godot resources safe is really hard. So we'll probably have our own stricter data model than just a Godot quote-unquote resource with a capital R. Because it's really hard to prevent those from executing arbitrary code. So we're going to do our best. But yeah, we'll see. All right, we're also heading into ads. So hold on to your ads, people. I might actually take a quick break when ads run. Quick bio break. All right, so here's our corner functions. All we really need to do, we need to evaluate the Atlas coords. So all we really need to know is we'll have a switch statement. Do it like this. All right, we'll do this when I get back. We are back in a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Alright, thanks for hanging out. Here I am, back again. Alright, let me catch up on chat here. Yeah. No one's going to be making, you know, absolutely secure systems. All we can do is make, you know, relatively safe architectural decisions. Because, yeah, you can look up, you know, the Godot resource class, and it has known security vulnerabilities, so, especially with user-generated content, so we're going to do our best. We'll use our own, probably very tight data model. We probably won't allow code to be executed from a file, from any user-generated file. That limits the amount of modding support that we can have, obviously. Like, you won't be able to add, a player wouldn't be able to add a new feature, a complete new feature or mechanic via modding with this model. Because, yeah, I think you can just, you know, you can make some choices about what you're leaving yourself open to, but yeah, there's no way to design a perfectly secure system. It's part of the reason why I'm not going to handle any kind of official mod exchange portal deal. If people want to share mods on their own, that's great. I mean, at a certain point, the real backstop is if you download a program off the internet and run it, you know, especially if you modify an existing program using files that you've gotten off the internet from someone, there's only so much I can do. Like, if we make Steam the keeper and protector of these files, then there's a layer of trust I think people will have about it. But yeah, it's tricky. Definitely tricky. Yeah, there's no such thing as having a system that's absolutely secure if it does anything. If it doesn't do anything, then yeah, sure, it can be secure by merit of it doesn't do anything. But yeah, as soon as you start connecting the stuff, you're opening yourself up to some level of risk, right? All right, so we're going to make some corner stuff. So I kind of want to look at the old system to get some help with this. I don't quite remember how the old system works. You've seen stories of people asking AI to make something secure, just deletes the system from the code. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Remove security flaws from this program. Program deleted. Exactly. It's funny. All right, where are the corner stuff? Where's the corner code? Here it is. Corner code is, there's actually only a few cases we're dealing with corners at the moment. So right now, this is pretty much all we need for most of this stuff, I think. The door face stuff is going to be weird. You know, wait a minute before we add support for doors back. It's going to be a little tricky. All right, so what we're going to do to start is we start with a return block.faces hull key.w switch. Calling this an index, an argument out of range exception is a little questionable. Actually, there we go. Well, hold on a second. We know that it's the... Actually, what we should do is this. Oh, it's just a param name. Yeah, let's not do that then. Well, maybe that's fine. I don't know if I care about that.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
Well, I wonder if we'll never have corner support for Black Faces Z, or we just currently don't.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
Not support visible corner markings. I don't know. I don't know if I want a default. Do we have a default case down here? No, we don't have a default case. I don't know if I care about that.
I saw it when I walked, boy.
All right, let's do the rest of these. Yeah, I'm moving kind of slow today. Probably going to take a bit to ease back into the work here, but we're trying. Just trying to make a little forward progress every day. What's the value for this one? This one is Positive x and negative y. That's not this one. So wait, chords.x is 2 or 3 and chords.y is 1 or 3? Oh yeah, that's right. Never mind. But I think we want this one first. Yeah. Are these ands or ors? This is not has corner. So should this be not? Oh, but we also swapped the... I have to look at it again. We changed too many things about the structure. We inverted the condition, but we also are doing something else. We're also not drawing edges and corners by default, and that's probably what's messing me up here. So if we look at the auto tiler... Coffee time? Nice. Oh, hydrate. And it's almost 4 p.m. there. You're getting ready to eat breakfast. There is no wrong time for breakfast. I was given a waffle maker for Christmas. Now I can make an indulgent breakfast with almost no effort. Because pancakes and French toast involve some effort, but yeah. Making a waffle? There's gonna be a lot of waffles in my future. Alright, where's the auto tiler thing? Auto tile mapping, here we go. Yeah, so we changed the mappings. And now if we look at 0, 0, here you can see on the default mapping there are corners. Because we start with all outlines and then we eliminate them. We're doing the opposite here. So here there are no outlines as the default, and then we're trying to figure out when to add them. And we use the same thing for corners. So instead of is 1 or 3, is 1 or 3. Okay, I see 1 or 3. That's those corners. Does the same logic hold true? So it's 0 or 2 for these ones, and then 1 or 3 for these ones. So what if we look at this layer? Yeah, this is a good layer to look at. Ooh, pizza. Pizza sounds good. Sapphire. Rhiannon, waffles are so good for your wedding reception. You had a breakfast bar with a waffle bar instead of cake. That sounds awesome. They're probably third in my tier of breakfast. Like, I love French toast. Tier 1. Tier 2 is probably pancakes. Tier 3 is waffles. So it's like, it's third, but they're still in the top 3, you know? We'll see. I'm excited to try this stuff. I'm sure you'll be back to your usual sure you'll be back to your old tricks again anytime soon, Nix. Sometime soon. But yeah, don't push it. So Okay, so it's just 2 for this corner. Has to be 2. Is what I am seeing here. All right, let's try to get this. Let's try to get this sorted out. So this is here. So the Z. So we're looking at the Z levels. That's what we're doing here, right? Oh, we're asking for X. Oh, I see. We're setting the X. Can we intuit the Z stuff from the X? Z and the W stuff? No, we cannot. I don't think. Oh, actually, okay. Okay, I see. So the upper right corner could only appear if we're at 0 or 2. If we're at 1 or 3, there's a bar there, so the corner stuff is meaningless. And then 1, 3 for that. So for the... So this is negative X, negative Y. So for negative X, negative Y for the block for this face, it's the same for the other side, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, I think I understand. Yeah, so Alice chords would need to be... It would need to be 0 or 2, actually. And then for the Y... Why are we doing this screen? Is it supposed to just be a way, an easy check? I don't think I care about doing this check. Doesn't actually change the condition. I would like to get rid of that check because I don't think I care about that check. What I would like to do instead... Instead, I would like to do this check. So yeah, let's forget about this stuff. So an X face at its negative X, negative Y corner, which is this corner. We want to check the block above us and to the right. And what are we doing? Are we checking their corners? Actually, we could probably just check the diagonal block and see if it's the same hull type as us. It's probably the way to go, at least to start. Skip music track? You got it. Big giant circles, yeah. I get it. That was a little harder than music we're normally listening to here. Thanks for actually using a redeem. Why is the build thing just always on? It must have some kind of auto build thing up. Maybe Godot is doing it. Stretch? Ah, jeez. Killing me. I do need to do a lot more of that next year. I've been spending too much time in this chair. I've like tightened some of the muscles in the back of my leg. All right, so what we can do now instead, so has corner, not has corner, negative x, negative y. Yeah, there's nothing here to help me. What we should do instead, so what do we do down here? Try get value. Yeah, we try to get a value. We try to make sure that the value is the same. If there isn't a value there, oh yeah, okay, so if there's nothing there, what happens to diagonal if try get value is false? What does this default to? Not that one. What does this one default to? Lock.hull. Okay, it defaults to outer, which is not great. Yeah, this is gonna be a little tricky. That's fine. When will the standing desk sitting down redeem work? When I feel like doing that. Right now, I don't want to stand for that long. And it's actually kind of hard to move the chair out of here. But yeah, we'll get it. Got it. Redeem more stretches next year. Thanks. Random Journey, you've been using your Bluetooth headphones with your computer. But you don't do much. You just realized it had you connected to the hands-free connection instead of the headset connection, and the hands-free version has crappy bitrate. Oh yeah, I've noticed that too with some older headphones. There will be like the mode for like talking on the phone, and it'll be, yeah, distinctly worse than like the headphone mode. But I also have wired headphones everywhere to all my desktops. Although I did get myself a nice pair of Bluetooth headphones in anticipation of next year's return to office, which is not going to happen soon, so don't worry about it. But it is probably going to happen. I hope they just give up on the whole idea of it. We'll see. Change is coming, 2026. Yeah, you hate how there's two different ways to connect the same headset. Yeah. Yeah, mine would do that all the time. Mine still asks if it can connect to like my contact list. I don't know what it's for. I think it's if like someone would call me, the headset would like tell me their name or something. I'm like, I don't want that. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna say try get value. I'm gonna say hull key plus, well, we're gonna say plus vector 3i. Actually, it's gonna be minus vector 3i dot yz. Is that a problem? Oh, 2 parameters, right. Out, block dot haul diagonal. I could also write caddy corner. Caddy corner, I think, would be confusing, but it's kind of fun. So if there is a value there and caddy corner is not the same as hull type, there we go. Yeah, because I want to know if there's nothing there. If there's nothing there, let's try get. What is the result of the try get value if maybe null when false? Yeah, but it's a. Oh, I could ask if it has value. That should work. So I could say that. I could say or. Oh, because this will actually return a bool. So it's kind of this and this. A little weird. We're going to start lurking. No worries. Thanks, Sapphire. You too, Nix. Yeah. Hang out. Your Project Zomboid finally finished downloading your 30 gigs of mods. All right. Nice. Yeah, my favorite phone feature for like calls like that is my there's like a system that answers for me. It's like a call screening service, and it just gives me a transcript of the phone call, and it's like really obvious whether it's something I want to answer or not. It's really fun to listen to 2 AIs get in an argument with each other. All right, so we have a corner. If our caddy corner hull should this say like this though? No. Actually, I could say try get value. We could have a ternary thing. So the try get value is actually not the thing. That's actually not the thing we care about. In which case we could even just do a get. Oh, maybe we can't do that. Oh, we could do a value or default. How do you want this? Oh, I have to turn a I have to return a default value. Let's see. So I can't do that. Okay, that's fine. We could do a contains key. I don't really want to do this. I want to just do it once. There we go. Do it like this. And we can actually set it up like this. So if there is a value there, what we want to know is we want to know whether the hull type is not equal to eddy corner. You can say it the other way around. How do I normally type that out? JSON face equal to hull type. Okay, we'll do it that way. Otherwise, what we want to do is we just want to return true, yeah? Yeah, so we don't need to do it this way, huh? So actually what I want is this, not try get value. I want to do this, not try get value or this. That's what I want. Because it's either we weren't able to get a value or the value is not the value we want. And that's what we want to test. Okay. So same deal here. Except instead of this... Oh, is it the same? No. Oh yeah, minus x z. X minus z. Yeah. Okay, that should work just fine. Hey, the crate. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Where's our fatal error? Oh, down here. So similarly, we're interested in this. Doing good. How are you doing? I'm good. I'm back from vacation. We haven't streamed since before Christmas. So just kind of getting back into the swing of things. Happy holidays, etc. Thanks for stopping by here. Okay. So what do we want here? Positive. So we want minus vector 3i dot y plus vector 3i dot z. I like it the other way. I usually write it the other way, huh? No, I don't. Okay. Do I like it the other way? It'd probably be better to have done it like this. That's not what we're doing.
Maximum warp.
May you ask what an FTL is? Yeah, sure. Maximum warp, no jewel. How's it going? FTL Faster Than Light is a classic game by Subset Games about starship management. It's a little top-down 2D game about probably one of the initial wave of like the roguelike renaissance that we're still in. Yeah, it's a little ship about managing crew and systems and power distribution and having a little kind of somewhat abstracted fights with other little ships going on adventures. So we're doing something similar. We're doing it in a kind of isometric 2D style. So we're working on some tech for that. Yeah, it's really good. You should play it at some point. It's usually can get it on sale for pretty cheap. Really good game. I don't know how much it's going for right now. But yeah, we're working kind of our own take on it. Have you done an FTL stream in the past? No, we did Void War. I don't know how many more Let's Plays we're going to do on this channel. It doesn't seem to be... The algorithm really doesn't like you doing something totally different like that. It seems to be not very good, but we kind of just do it for ourselves, so it's fine. So if we do one, it would be like a little celebration thing or something. .faces.y. Sorry, I'm being distracted. All right. X? Wait, hold on. Negative X minus... We're facing Y. You want to check our negative X plus... Okay, plus Z, right? You know, I could probably make up some kind of insane operator overload. Like I could probably make a minus plus or something like that, or like a plus minus, or plus minus minus. I think that would be deeply confusing to everyone, but I'm thinking of like a way that's a more elegant way to express this. Because like up here I can say minus vector 3i dot yz. But down here I have to say minus vector 3i dot y plus vector 3i dot z. I mean, I could also just make a new vector. I kind of want a easier way to do this stuff, and I think it might be kind of interesting to write it that way. So like, what if I went in here and I looked at our operator overloads? So how would I know what to do here? I guess I wouldn't. I guess that's the problem. So XY returns at vector 2. Oh, but XY up here is a vector 3. Thanks for the hydrate, Arneo. How's it going, No Jewel? Would this be insane? Also, where are the... Here they are. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of awkward, huh? Arneo, walking really gets your blood going. You're fizzing with ideas for sensor combat. Might as well fiddle a bit in Godot. Yeah. I mean, maybe not while you're walking, but... yeah, physical... There's something about physical activity that really gets the brain blood pumping here. You're back. Welcome back, the crate. Yeah, I can't think of a better way to do this. I think writing something like minus plus would be super awkward, but... Clarity. Clarity over brevity. Seems like the right play here. Out, block, dot, hall, caddy corner, or caddy corner is not equal to hall type. Having a hard time writing faces.z. Grab this here. Do I really want this to be a not implemented exception? Yeah, why not? Why not? Getting used to your new OS still? Oh, no worries. What kind of OS did you get? Sapphire, you think asking you if something is insane is not going to get me a good answer? How can people who are insane be able to tell if something is insane or not? It's a good question. It's a good question. I think there's a subset of people who do know that. Also, I don't use the Atlas coords. So, because... Hold on a second. Why are we passing the coords in? I don't actually need that information, I don't think. So we're going to get rid of it. I don't think we use it. Change to Debian. I've heard some interesting things from people about Debian. I'm thinking about setting up a Ubuntu Linux system as kind of my first take. So since I'm new, it's probably better for me, but I'm interested in why you picked Debian over Ubuntu. So that should be fine. Who would have known that all of this would be so much simpler? Polls, try get. Oh, we have to also do cutaway checks, huh? Yes, we do. But we aren't, are we? But we should. Because the hulls thing... We get our hull data before we get our cutaway data. Or more specifically, I don't think we pay attention. Block hull types, block tags. You know, we could read... We could actually say this. We could actually read in, we could say if this has any, or we could say if this doesn't have the hull or it does have, here we could do it like this. tags.span I as block.tags.cutaway. Then we could say or. No, it's not quite what I wanted. Continue. We could actually not have a whole face be determined if we're going to cut the block away anyway. That actually simplifies a lot. So that's nice. That might actually change some of our behavior here. Nice. Yeah, okay. This return default thing might actually not be necessary anymore, but let's not worry about that right now. Yeah, I don't know what Mr. Magoo is using. I think maybe they're using some frameworks or something. I honestly don't know what it means to make an OS from scratch. At a certain point, it's the whole, if you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe kind of situation. Whenever you start a project like that, you pick some arbitrary starting point between the creation of the universe and a finished product. We're doing the same thing with this, you know. We're starting with the Godot engine, but we are kind of building our own whole little simulation layer that kind of sits beside it. Do I care about the mask at all for determining the corner? I guess I do. I guess I do, actually. So I actually need to change this. We actually need a mask is null. And this is the mask is null branch. And then we need a mask is not null branch. If mask is not null, then what we need to do is we need to say we actually only care about if not mask dot contains. Well, it's a little more complicated than that, isn't it? Ah, we do this, right? Oh yeah, if we're included in the mask. Well, we don't know that we're part of the mask. Why does this work? Hey, thank you for the follow, the crate. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's weird that Magoo didn't show up. They're gonna be upset. Their stream streak might get lost. But yeah, that's cool. That's cool. The crate. Yeah, if you have strong opinions about why you changed to Debian, I maybe from Ubuntu even, I would be interested in hearing it. If you don't, that's fine. You just wanted to try something else, that's cool too. I'm still working my way up to my first Linux machine, so being a game dev means you kind of just are in Windows. You kind of live in the Windows ecosystem, but it is bad enough where I am starting to look at alternatives, you know? I want to try some stuff out first on a backup machine before I make any kind of commitment. All right, so I'm a little concerned about how we wrote this. So first we would say as corner negative x negative y. What is this? Or not mask dot contains key dot x by z minus vector 3I dot yz. So I don't think this is sufficient, but you know, we'll find out. Oh, you preferred Linux before it was before Windows was totally shit. Oh yeah, they said they run the stream in the background, right? That was smart. What you need is you just need to set up like a thin client that's just running Twitch. A Twitch app in the background. Good. Oh. We are gonna... Oh, I can't. I missed my opportunity to snooze the ad, sorry. New year, new you. Yeah, I'm building some new computers that are to replace some old Windows machines that can't upgrade to 11. And I'm going to turn one of them's a frag box, which will probably eventually become a Linux box, but it's just for like taking to conventions and stuff. But the other one is like a desktop, which has a lot of disk drive space in it, like a lot of drive space. And I'm thinking about turning it into some kind of box for running like little virtualized things or services or something. I want to mess around with it. Not as my daily driver, but I want to mess it up. Oh no, ads. I know. Hold on to your ads. There's always Prime. If you've got a Prime sub, don't forget to use it. Look at autocomplete, like, kind of working correctly. There we go. Okay, that should work better. I shouldn't have to worry about... Huh. Well, hold on a second. I think we still need to figure out the haul type, even if it's being cut away. I have to go undo the thing I did. There you go. Oh my glob. No Jewel subscribing with Prime. Thank you so much. Those call to actions, those calls to action, they still work, you know? Crate oversharing? You are not. At least based on the standards of the community here. Yeah, I think, Rhiannon, I think you need to, like, spool up, like, a... I think you need to spool up, like, some kind of endpoint that can just be on Twitch all the time, logged in. When did I start coding? Depends on how you count. I originally picked up Unity, and I think actually the very first thing I tried to do was the source engine Hammer editor, that would have been back in like 2008 or 7 or 8 or something like that. I started messing around with that. Tried Unreal, settled on Unity not long after. Probably started messing around with Unity in 2010 or something like that. Then I used that up until a few years ago when I jumped over to Godot. And it has just been, I've been so happy. We've been using Godot for at least 2 years now, which is kind of around the time we started this project and started streaming. All of those things kind of happened within a few months of each other. So yeah, so we've been on Godot for a couple of years now, but yeah, part of the reason we're in C# is I had spent, you know, over a decade doing hobbyist stuff in Unity. But yeah, you're not oversharing the crate. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of people who share way more than you on here, including me. Not quite sure of this mask check, but yeah, we definitely still need to do some kind of cutaway check. We'll add those in as they become necessary, I guess. We're not gonna try anticipating all of our needs here. We're just gonna take it as it comes. Minus YZ. That's wrong. Minus Y plus 3I dot Z. I would love a simpler way to express that. I guess this is the simplest way to express. I'd love a shorter way to express that. I guess I'm in my brevity phase, huh? Oh, wrong one. Man, you cannot trust. You really can't trust autocomplete as far as you can throw it. I'm tempted to just turn it off. Because the problem with autocomplete is that it looks correct when you don't think about it very long, and then you look at it again and you're like, what? And it's like totally wrong. Rhiannon Journey, do you know the reason why Godot is able to use the latest .NET all of the time and Unity can't? Unity had I think Unity eventually started to update their stuff, but it was really old for a long time. I don't know. I think Unity wanted control of a lot of things and wanted guarantees about a lot of things. I have no idea. My honest answer is I have no idea why Unity was limited the way they were. The reason why Godot is able to support any .NET version, there is a minimum version now, which I think is .NET 8 from like 4 point something. One of the recent 4 point somethings made a minimum version that they supported, but I think it's because Godot does everything more modularly. They don't like to couple everything so tightly like Unity might. And so I think the fact that it's just less tightly coupled allows you to just kind of swap in whatever .NET version. I mean, it's also the engine itself doesn't run on C#, so that probably helps too. Because this is like an extension. I don't know. It's a good question. But I'm not going to look a gift a gift package in the mouth, you know. Have I ever used Rust? No, I've never used Rust. I'm a script kiddie. I know JavaScript, I know C#, and I've learnt GDScript. And that's the list of languages that I know. I would love to get more into like C, especially. I think C would be interesting to learn. If I cared about performance, I might look into C++ more, but I so far haven't needed to do any GD extension stuff with C++. I mean, I arguably should have for this, but didn't, so. I guess we can keep going here. Oh, wait, no, we can't. Oh, yeah, we can. I have a hard stop at 2. I just gotta keep an eye on the clock. I think we have time to finish this. Yeah, I might turn autocomplete off. It's kind of right, but in such a way that it lulls me into this false sense of security. And that is, I don't like it. C is easy if you have the good material to understand it. Yeah, part of the reason why I didn't learn C++ is I've talked to people who like really know that stuff, and they were like, I'm not sure which version you would want to start with or where you would want to learn it from. Because everyone I know that's like big on C++, they've always known it. And they kind of, you know, grew up with the different versions. And everyone has a different opinion of what constitutes like modern C++. And which parts you should use or not. But yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting frameworks for game dev in C. Like, I'd be really interested to try like Odin or some other stuff like what Randy has done. Randy on YouTube does a lot of really interesting stuff with just frameworks. It'd be neat. But I know C#, and I like Godot, so we're probably just going to stick with Godot, you know. This is almost right. Plus vector 3i.x minus vector 3i. What kind of stuff do you work on, the crate? You sound experienced. Oh my lord, what happened? There we go. Currently trying to learn Rust. Keyword is trying. Your main language is Python, and more recently Go. Okay, cool. I know people that like some of that stuff. You would probably be able to understand GDScript pretty quickly if you messed around with Godot. Because GDScript looks like Python. It isn't, but it looks like it. You would maybe like some of that stuff. Whenever I'm doing game jams and stuff, you use GDScript? Nice, yeah. Yeah, when we're doing a game jam or something, we just use GDScript. We don't mess around. We just use the engine the way it was intended. But our big project, this project is big enough that early on I decided I wanted a simulation layer that was totally uncoupled from all the rendering and stuff. And in my mind, it was easy to do it this way. Just spin this whole thing off into a little C# domain. Okay, block basis.y plus x. Okay, I think I've got the dimensions wrong again. Yeah, it's not plus x, it's plus y minus z. And then here is plus x. Holes.try get. I've heard good things about Rust 2. I decided pretty early on that I didn't want this to be the Dave learns a new programming language stream. I didn't want that to be this project because that's a very different kind of project. A learning project is very, very different from a project you're actually trying to, get out the door eventually. Not that we're in a huge hurry. You did it this year for school projects? Oh, okay. You tried C and C++, but never C#. Yeah, C# is just, multi-dimensional C++, plus, plus, plus. That's how you get the hashtag. 4 pluses. 2 ranks of plus. You think every project is a way to learn? That is true. That is true. But to me, it's different. I mean, if you're in school, I guess that's a way better attitude to have. But I'm old, and I just want to get... I'm at the trying to get things done phase, less than the trying to learn. Obviously, learning just occurs. But yeah, that's part of the reason I'm using C#. It's certainly not the best language to be doing what I'm doing. Very much the opposite case. Rhiannon, you're still hoping for C# web exports to become a thing again? They are like around the corner. I bet they will have that working before 5.0. I think they're quite close for that. But yeah, this isn't a web exported game, so I'm not too worried about that. So I have time to wait. All right. I don't think this is going to totally work initially, but it might. Honestly, I don't think we're going to have time to test it. I got to leave in less than 5 minutes. So I'm going to write this out real quick, and we're probably going to wrap it up for the day. But we're streaming for the next 5 days, so we're trying to get back to our regular schedule, so there's time. Coding is also your dopamine release method, not for school. You'll learn very quickly then. That's great. To me, I've never been a code for the sake of coding kind of person. I've always been a coding as an end to achieve some kind of means. To me, I code so that I can make stuff happen, right? So I've never really studied, data structures and, general purpose algorithms. I've learned stuff, but to me, I've always needed a reason to do it. But it definitely makes it slower in terms of, how long it takes to learn something. Positive. You're gonna leave because you got to finish some deets on a small something. Cod. Probably not the fish. I assume you mean charge on delivery or something. Yeah, good night. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the follow. Hope to see you again. Happy New Year, etc., etc. Code, okay. I'm like, you got some details on a cod. I'm like, he's cooking a fish. Funny. I was like, maybe it's a contract piece. Yeah, no, good luck. Go focus in or whatever. Get wired in. I'll see you around. I gotta wire out in the next couple of minutes here. I just want to finish writing this stupid code. We're not gonna test it. We're just gonna write it and we'll test it tomorrow. Oh, this was the wrong YZ. I think I'm gonna have to wrap some stuff maybe here. All right, there we go. There's an error somewhere. Where? Oh, there we go. All right, no errors. We got a bunch of new corner auto tiling code. We'll test it tomorrow. Yeah, see you all. Yeah, I gotta wrap up. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Maybe even tomorrow. Bye.